Reynolds, she's up there. She can't come down.
Okay.
Mary Getlin right here.
Okay.
Antoinette Reynolds right here. And Miss McPherson earlier.
Okay. That's who's that?
I don't know if I need.
Give me a name. Okay. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 minutes. 12.
I told you they'll keep you.
Yeah.
Peggy Lee Kennedy, third generation Venice resident. You know, my mother, she lived in an RV. Did you know that? My mother. So, you know, when people say mean things about people who live in vehicles, that's not very nice because they're human beings. In that one picture they showed that some of you turned around and looked at, guess what? That looked just like Will Cagle's van. He's a longtime Venice resident, happens to be a senior, African-American, very disabled. He has congenital heart failure. They towed his van illegally. The city of Los Angeles towed it illegally because they said it was not exempt from the oversized vehicle ordinance when he had a clearly visible disabled placard. That is inappropriate, and that's the kind of bad faith that has been shown already with the oversized vehicle ordinance. In fact, there's a lawsuit right now in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals that has that in it. So the next point I want to make is the petitions. 2/3 petitions, not in the law at all. Nowhere in that law does it say anything about petitions. Not in the law. The OPD law does not have petitions. And you know what? I will pay you if you find the word petition in that law, and I am very poor. So I know it's not there. And in fact, what it does say is the only thing required is a communication from the councilman to the Department of Transportation, and that sign goes up. And it's really disingenuous to make a deal with the Coastal Commission when they aren't even willing to change the law to include petitions. Sorry. Hearings. Let's talk about those hearings. I've been to all the hearings. So originally, when Venice was first given a hearing, it was at the Westminster Elementary School. Tons of people came out, mostly opposed to the OPDs. How were we heard? You know what? They said the recording was inaudible and they couldn't use it. Then the Bureau of Engineering rubber stamped it and went forward. Over 100 notarized appeals were submitted to the city. They did not listen. Each one at that time had to be notarized. That's a lot. It was a record. So then it went to the Board of Public Works. Bill Rosendahl came in and sat down and said that he was going to appeal this law, the living in the vehicle ordinance, so that people could have a place to live. Oh, not true. Never happened. Then it came here, and this was the next hearing, came here, and this commission found it a substantial issue, so we could hear it at the Coastal Commission in June 2009. That was the next hearing. I've been to them all, including some of the findings, when you guys submitted the findings. All right. That beach closed law, staff knew about it. I'm sorry, staff. They knew about it in November 2007 when I submitted it to them. That was before the permit application. Those homeless people or those vendors, they're sitting on the street too long. We got a law for that. It's called the 72-hour law, and it applies to every single person, disabled or not. You have to move. Oh, the OPDs will take care of people who don't have toilets. What kind of logic is that? Get some toilets. I can't even believe that. Sorry. We've been trying to get toilets open in Venice since I was elected to the Venice Neighborhood Council in 2003, when that neighborhood council voted in favor of opening public toilets, and we found funding, and they still didn't do it. and we are always dealing with broken toilets. And that's only during the day we don't have enough toilets for all the tourists there. And then they put in these horrible porta potties that overflow. It's a nightmare. We need some toilets. That is a crazy logic. OPDs equals no poo. Come on. Okay, now let's talk about the mitigations. You know, in 2003, when I was on the neighborhood council, we had a parking committee, and I remember this very clearly. They were trying to put in meters in those lots that they're giving as a mitigation now. They didn't have those signs. That was taken away. What is this, take away, give it back as a mitigation? That's not a mitigation. They should just give it back, because they should have been not taking it away in the first place. It's the whole thing is crazy. Along at these two lots, what are they, 619, or the two right behind Abbott Kinney that they're saying they're giving you, they put up these signs there, no parking 2 to 4 in the morning, then these 2-hour parking zones. And what happened is that when you guys give these exemptions for the valets on Abbott Kinney, they don't even use those lots because they're only 2 hours. They go out into the neighborhoods, and it's a huge problem. It isn't the homeless people over there. Okay, you know, we got issues. You know, every population has problems. But, you know, people need help. They don't need law enforcement, and a law is not the solution. It's really inappropriate, and I really hope you don't take that side. Please. You know, all life has value here. And somehow, you guys have been appointed to these positions. Just like somehow that person ended up with schizophrenia, and they live in absolute terror and delusions and hearing and seeing things for the rest of their lives. That's their whole life. Their life. I know, because I have family members that have to live like that. So, you know, that's their life, and it has value, you know, and we should help people, not throw them away, just like the city did when in 2010, after June of 2010, when you guys denied most of you weren't here, but when you guys denied the OPDs in 2010, I have plenty of time. In 2010, when you guys denied the OPDs in 2010 for the second time and said, oh, you have all these other things you could do to these people. Go ahead, the living in vehicle, oversized, go ahead, do all that first, and we'll see if the problem has, if that takes care of the problem. They're not a problem, they're people, human beings. The city already had a task force, an LAPD task force, and other task force too. And they came in ferociously, and they towed people, the only homes they had, during the day. You know why they towed them during the day? For living in their vehicle, for that law that Bill Rosendahl was going to amend way back when, that never was going to happen. During the day, because they couldn't get into the county lots, because the county conveniently closed those lots off right in sync, lockstep with the city, so that no oversized vehicles could go there in the day. So they were sitting ducks. During the day, arrest, ticket, tow, threaten. Oh, how about taking your dogs to the pound? Multiple times, I was getting people waiting over it. Oh, and they don't just take them to Venice. They take them to the 77th. That's in South Central. I'm waiting there till 2 in the morning for people. And then we got to figure out where they're going to stay because their vehicle's been impounded. And then we got to figure out how to get it out. And how are we going to get their dogs out, because that ain't cheap. So all that happened. It wasn't because people were housed that those spaces came available in that mitigation. It was because the people were tortured, arrested, towed, threatened, and ticketed out of there. That's what happened. That little thing that they did, that they say they housed people, that didn't go into effect till 2011. And all that stuff went down in 2010. That's the truth. Let me see what else is on my list. Okay, in my letter, I submitted to the commissioners on that deadline, which was given to us last Thursday, I submitted attachments. And in the attachments was a complaint I submitted about the streets in Venice. November 2007, I drove around the streets of Venice trying to find out all the violations because I didn't know they weren't supposed to take those streets away. And I put a list of streets that the city has effectively closed to beach access over the last, 10 years. And I know part of these streets because I lived on these streets. It's miles and miles. I don't know about this mitigation. Now here's, I think, one of my main points here about the petition issue. Although the OPD law does not require a petition to put in, there were some citizens, which is an attachment in my letter that I submitted to you, some citizens, a homeowner, and he didn't like those OPDs, and they were ticketing his disabled vehicle that was legally exempt, and so he didn't want those OPDs on his block anymore, so he got a petition, and he went up and down, and guess what? They ignored it. They wouldn't take it down. So not only does it not require a petition to put in, you can't petition to get it out if you don't want the OPD in. And that was in Venice, not in the coastal zone. And, in conclusion, I really appreciate that you've sat here and listened to me for the most part, because this is my home. I have a partner, a life partner, and he says, your home isn't necessarily where you're standing. It's your being, your sense of belonging. It's what you know, and that's my home. Venice is my home. And you know what I bet? That's why a lot of these people are here. That's their home. This is a community of people of just absolute diversity. It's incredible that somehow have joined together on this issue because that's their home, and they want to protect that diversity. And this is a threat to it, a threat to our special home. So I really appreciate you listening to me. Thank you for all this time, and everybody, I hope you vote this darn thing down again, because it's wrong, it's rotten, and it's a human rights issue.
Thank you.